Welcome to this week's episode of Slow Love Unravelled. I'm Holly.
I'm Isabel.
And this week we are discussing it's all around vintage, which we've done before, but this time we thought it would be really good to do it from a sort of summer shopping.
Vintage summer edition.
Yeah, the last time we did it was autumn winter, so this we thought we would sort of go over, what's the sort of roundup of we're delving into our kind of hacks.
Yeah, what's on our vintage wish list for this summer.
Yeah.
Kind of finding gaps in your wardrobe and
really good brands to search for that are really high quality that you can get at a really good price. I have so many of those to share with you.
Oh God, this is why you're so good. Like your brand, your like expansive brand knowledge is so good.
I do love it. I basically my ultimate favorite thing to do. Everyone's going to hate me saying this because it makes me feel so selfish. Apart from all the people that follow my Vinted edits, is like of an evening, if we're watching something that maybe Charlie has chosen, and I just
Star Wars.
Yeah, I just fall down a rabbit hole on Vinted, and basically once I fall down that rabbit hole, I don't like any interruptions. So I don't want him to ask me what I'm looking at. I want to dive so deep that it's
into vintage.
Into vintage.
Let's just finish that sentence.
And basically have no others. So I don't want anyone to don't want the dogs to come up to me. Don't want my children to ask me a question. I just want to be alone.
But I get that though. I think it was, before Vinted, like I would sometimes used to be not necessarily looking to like buy anything, but like window shop on my phone of the evening. But Vinted actually makes it so much more fun because there is nothing more satisfying, is there, when you find an absolute...
It's like another level of excitement.
Yeah.
That adrenaline. I used to do this with Pinterest where I would like sort of surf on Pinterest for hours, and it was like it gave me the same relaxation as looking through a magazine did back in the old days.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I felt like Pinterest it's not like trending the way that Instagram and TikTok trends kind of get shoved at you. It's obviously now because people advertise through it. I mean, we advertise through it, but you still get this sort of like detailed shots, which I love on Pinterest. But yeah, Vinted, it's like if you see something, I saw something the other day which I'm kicking myself that I didn't get. I'm so gutted. It was a brooch. It was an old Chanel brooch, but it was amazing. And it was like below that threshold where you can get it verified. So it would have been a risk. So that already tells you it was under £100, which is really good. And I kept looking at it and I was like, I think that's a real one. Mm-hmm. Just because of like the way it had been made. It had been photographed in quite bad light, but there was like one photograph where it looked different. And then I was like, I'm not even a brooch person, but I would probably resell it. Mm. And I'm absolutely kicking myself because it went really quickly.
Do you reckon that just belonged to some like poor chap who had no idea really what it was?
Yeah, I think that's...
He like found it in a garage or something and he's like, oh, I don't know what this is. I'll just whack it on there.
I do think that there's every now and again there is somebody that just whacks on a load of stuff maybe without taking the time to research it.
Yeah.
It's like those Marnie sandals over there in that box, which you and I noticed. I think somebody had bought them and like catalogued their wardrobe because they'd put a photograph of the sandals at the front of the box. So where they'd obviously had so many different things for easy access, they'd photographed every pair of shoes and then had them like catalogued. But I got those for a steal. Yeah.
I'd love to be able to do that if I had the time.
If I had the space, I would.
Yeah, you definitely would. Oh my God. Have you ever seen, this is a little bit of a tangent, but it is so cool. Do you follow Trini Woodall on Instagram?
Yeah, but her bags in the plastic boxes.
Just her entire like archive of clothing, like underneath. She's got like a basement, and down the stairs going down to her basement, every single step's got a pair of shoes on, and she's just got rails and rails and rails of clothes. And it's similar to you, where she's like, I've had this Prada dress since I've been like 18, and I'm now keeping it for my daughter, and I'd never throw it away because they used to construct it like this, but now they don't do that anymore. And I was like, God, it's so cool. I've seen podcast video things.
I've seen one of her things. I've seen one of her things she's done where she went through her handbags that are in like the clear plastic, like kind almost like it's a museum, so that they don't get dust, which I do get. If we had the space, I'd tell you who has Gina with her trainers. Have you seen in the clear? She has them in each individual pair in clear plastic boxes, and like
that. I mean, that must be so satisfying to be able to do that.
Yeah.
James, if he was listening to this, he'd be like, all your shoes are literally everywhere but a shoe rack. They're like in the lounge, that's like one of my worst traits.
I can't imagine you doing that.
Oh, I do. With shoes, I'm so bad. And my dad obviously never taught me anything when he used to throw our shoes outside. But like, yeah, I just
leave them everywhere.
I just kick my shoes off. Or I'll be like, I'll come in with the kids and like drop all the bags and I'll go and do something. And you know when it's warm, especially, and sometimes it feels like you're being like suffocated by your shoes. And it's like, oh my God, I just need to get my shoes off. And I'm like halfway to taking the kids to the loo or something. And then I'll be like, oh, there's the shoes I kicked off 4 hours ago, still in the sitting room. Anyway, so summer pieces on Vinted. Have you got any like absolute standout ones that you're looking at the moment, or that you've bought recently?
My favourite things that I've got recently, actually, this is one of my summer sort of hacks that I've talked about quite a lot on the Instagram, is my summer hacks for wearing in the summer is linen pieces from places like Zara and Massimo Dutti, which we all really fell in love with when we went to Palma. And I've bought quite a few sort of backless tops and just really amazing halter necks. I've bought from Zara. I've bought the same top twice of each because the denim's really nice, and they're like halter necks. So and wear a halter neck at my age, 41. I feel like I've got a limited amount of time, probably, where I would feel comfortable wearing it. I mean, no judgment for whoever wants to wear a halter neck, go for it. I just feel like I still want to be able to like wear things like that. So to find one that suits. So what I look for is, now I know that those brands can do nice. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily buy brand new, especially from Zara, but these ones in particular, the denim ones, are high neck, so I don't feel like I'm showing my chest, and then you just sort of tie it up and you actually feel really secure because the denim's quite thick, and then they're backless, and it's a really nice thing to pair with. I wouldn't ever wear it with a short skirt or short shorts, but I would wear it with long trousers, or like always normally high-waisted, or like a high-waisted skirt. So that at the moment they're like my favourite things to search for, and you get them. So for example, we went for this quite a bougie dinner on Saturday night, and so my outfit, I always think it's really interesting to sort of calculate how much your outfit's worth. Obviously I'm not talking about cost per wear, I'm just like, if you were to look at it, it's sort of like what you paid retail price. So I wore my Free People jeans, which I have got a lot of wear out. I bought these brand new with sort of horseshoe shape that everybody has. And then I wore this amazing black linen, completely backless halter neck top from Zara that I got on Vinted, which had like a big, so you tie it, it's really minimalist, tied it with a big bow. So it was sort of almost like high neck linen, and then it came down, and then it was really low at the back, but it was quite a long top with a side zip. But because Zara's sizing is tiny, I couldn't zip it all the way down past my hips. So I had the zip stopping at my waist. So it sort of created this like asymmetric line. And then I had these Church's studded sandals that I've had for years, which were expensive. I got them in the sale at this like random shop in Italy. but they still were expensive. But I've loved them to pieces, and I don't think I would ever sell them. So they go with everything. And then that Stella Nova jacket that I got on Vinted.
Nice.
With the applique light bits. And then this bag that I actually bought when we went for my grandma's 90th, and I spent the morning of her birthday. So we'd had the lunch, and my brother hadn't got anything for her yet. So I had to spend the morning. I didn't have to. I went with him to try and find a present for her, and I found this like orange beaded bag in like the middle of nowhere in Torquay, which is it's not known for its high fashion, but it's such a cool bag. It's just plain bright orange, like all beaded, like a sea urchin. So that's what I wore. And I was like, it's really interesting because the only thing that I bought new, which was expensive, was probably the sandals. And then everything else, the jeans, I guess, as well. Although they're like £80 for a pair of jeans nowadays, I feel it's kind of...
That's cheap for a pair of jeans.
For a really good pair that you just wear a day in, day out. And then the rest, the jacket and the top which were the sort of showstoppers, were from Vinted.
Nice.
But yeah, that's my hack. Sorry, that was long-winded. So basically, good fabrics, I search for linen. So I'll put into the search bar, linen halter neck or backless top. And then you just go through Zara, and again with the denim ones, the particular denim ones, I will screen grab it, and producer Abby will pop it up on the podcast. So it's like, you can see the shape, the one that I go for. So it's a high neck. There's two, one that ties, and then one ties at the back, and then one which has got like a little buckle. Those are the ones that I searched for, and they were like, I bought them for, I think it was like either £9 or like £15. That's what I've paid for the range.
What
do you search
I
for?
actually love halter necks, but I can't wear them because I feel like, especially now my hair's short, where I'm quite broad, a halter neck makes me look really broad.
Really?
So yeah, but I have found a few tops where
like a similar shape to Abby's racer.
It's not even a racer. It's where like I found I get the same kind of vibe as a halter neck, but it's not. It's where the straps are like spaghetti straps, but the neckline is quite high.
Oh yeah.
But it gives me like the same feeling of that kind of high, and it's like minimal on your shoulders, but you don't, where it doesn't cut me like there. And so it like balances my shoulders out better. But I know what you mean. Like having something backless for summer is so nice. It is really nice. I'm trying to think what I'm looking at on Vinted at the moment for summer. Let me have a quick.
Are you looking at for a lot of bridesmaids stuff?
No, I'm actually I was, but that's my only thing with Vinted with stuff like that's really specific. Is just sizing, and then you can't send it back, and if the colour's not quite right. And I think with bridesmaid stuff, if it's a brand and actually I did look on Vinted for, I'm actually wearing one of the tapu sets that we've got as one of my bridesmaids outfits, and I did look on Vinted every so often. They have a few bits, but it's such a niche little brand.
Yeah,
you don't often. I have got a really nice, slightly longer line linen waistcoat that I'm looking at from
that lovely the set you tried on in Cos.
No, I didn't get that. I've got some really nice I've got it's unusual, and I feel like I've got quite a lot of these in my wardrobe, like smocky tops, but this one's like it's denim, but she's put it as like a lightweight denim, and it's like almost like a painter's smock. So it's got like 3 buttons at the top, and then it kind of opens there, but not like opens wide, but there's no fastenings from like there down. And then it's got like big balloon sleeves, and it's got like A-line. So it's like floaty for the summer.
Nice.
Nice lightweight denim. I'll screenshot it and show. But yes, summer's just it with fabrics, just cotton or linen.
Yeah.
It's silk. Is silk good for the summer?
Yeah, I think you can get quite. I mean, if it's pure silk, it is lovely to wear. I wear silk in the summer.
I feel like silk is maybe a difficult one if you're like a sweaty person.
Yeah,
because it shows everything. So maybe like a raw silk rather than like a really slinky silk would be better.
Yeah, and I think you can get like I got that skirt. It was actually in Under the Stories one, that green one, which is like crinkled silk, and that wouldn't show.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't ever wear that with anything that was sort of like, even if it's a high-waisted skirt, the shape isn't very flattering on my hips, but it looks really good with like an oversized t-shirt.
I actually love that for a summer outfit, like a nice oversized tee and like a really pretty skirt.
Yeah,
that's such a nice, and yeah, the tee's cotton and floaty, get some airflow to the old pits. Gross. What else is on my vintage thing? I have now I'm in my shorts era. I have actually started. I'm actually, Abby, you say this quite a lot. Like nice tops that are kind of cut at the right length. So it's like I don't like wearing anything too cropped. But with my shorts, if I find I wear something that kind of comes down to my hips and like cuts me at a weird place when I'm wearing shorts, so trying to find stuff which is like just below the waistline so it doesn't show my tummy, but it's not that, like the balance is nice, so you can kind of see your waist without showing any midriff. I'm looking for a few of those. That I actually have found a blue silky, this dark navy silk, that kind of similar orientally shaped to the one I found for you in that local vintage shop.
Nice.
Which is really nice. And just finding stuff with summer, obviously it's hot, and being able to have like one piece which really elevates your outfit without adding like any bulk or weight of fussiness. Sometimes in the summer when you wear something and it's just really fussy and it just feels quite claustrophobic. So having like a nice, simple, if there's like, I'm looking at a top which is quite heavily embroidered, and which would just look really nice with a pair of plain shorts, but it's not too fussy.
You don't want anything that's like constricting you.
Yeah, that is the worst.
The other brand, which I said before, that I'm slowly collecting like all of their pieces that I look, is that Posse, that Australian linen brand, because their stuff's so nice. I've actually even bought sizes that are not my size, just because I thought I can either get them amended or I feel like they're too good to just miss.
Let go.
Yeah,
that we've spoken about that before, about buying stuff that might be, especially if it's a brand that ultimately fits your body shape well. If it's a size or two too big, it can be tailored nicely. I think if you find a brand that does fit you well, they're always such a good one to like save. And
that set that I wore to Hannah's wedding, I wore when we went to Mallorca last year, which was Posse. I did the set, like you said, with the sort of high-waisted.
Yeah.
So the set was a size bigger, but I wanted it to fit around my hips. So the guy who altered it took it in at the waist, the skirt, and then cropped the top more where they were like overlapping, and it was creating not a very flattering silhouette. He cropped the top so that they met.
Nice.
Sally, who always said this before, that Monique lady, she does that with all of her stuff because she's really short, I think, and really petite, so she quite often will talk about how she alters her pieces so that they fit her silhouette nicely. It's such such a good idea.
Do you buy much for your, I suppose you probably don't buy much for your children anymore?
I don't buy anything for my children, actually. No, and they don't listen to my podcast, so I can say this. Did I tell you what I did the other day when I was in the Chazza shop?
So go on.
So I don't buy anything for them now because I never get it right. The last time I actually got something right was when I bought Aurora a plain Carhartt sweater from Decimal for her birthday. But recently, because they go shopping together, but they don't I'm like the worst person to ask. I was in this charity shop and I found this like 90s Reebok jumper. She wore it yesterday when she came to the office. It's just black, and plain black with the Reebok sign here, and it's just got like a white patch down one arm which says like Reebok. So it's basically really standard. It was in the men's section, but it actually was definitely a woman's jumper by the shape of it. And so I got that for her, and it was like £4.95 or something. And then
So good.
in the same shop, I got a like workwear plain navy cos jacket.
Oh, nice.
With this like really chunky silver zip, with this like one pocket, and that was like a tenner. So I was like, sweet. If Oscar doesn't like it, Charlie will have it. So I got both of their things, but I knew that if I said, oh, it's from a charity show, I was like, oh, I got it at the vintage shop opposite. I bought you both something I saw in there, and I really like them, and they both loved them.
Oh, win.
Yeah, I know.
I wonder, so has it kind of gone back round where charity shops aren't cool, but vintage shops are?
I think it's just I think it's not so much. I think at their age where they're in that teenage like fog of kind of like, there's an element of everything feeling like it has to be sort of not served to them. I think they're like a year or so off from being like, I can go and shop in a Granny Chazza shop, and what I find will be cool is cool.
Yeah.
They're just not. Oscar's getting there. I just feel like that's not there yet. But the vintage shop, because it's like curated, it's like whatever's served there is. I think that's
good.
the mentality of it.
Yeah.
But they both shop on Vinted the entire time. So the secondhand, the like stigma with buying secondhand is definitely not there anymore. It was when we were at school, but
yeah, definitely. Defo. What's been your best like recent vintage purchase?
Mm.
I actually wore that waistcoat I was wearing yesterday.
Which one? The waistcoat?
Yeah,
that's
fitted
so nice.
me so nicely. It was a bit. It was just a Marks and Spencer's one, and it's just white linen, and it's so nice. And it was like £9. And then actually, I bought a really nice Anthropology, and it's like a burnt orange, thick, like strapped thick with a square neck, and then it's backless, but it ties. There's two ties at the back, and it's got like a nice, like slight frilled hemline. They're probably my two favourites. Two like vintage bargains. I think the waistcoat was new with tags. I think it was £9, and the Anthropology top was literally like £4. So good.
I got quite a list here.
Come on, then let's have it.
Okay, so the best find recently, but I won't be wearing it in the next few weeks, are those Simone Rocha trousers.
Oh God, I mean, they are so cool.
They are very cool.
And a bargain.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe it, and I couldn't believe it until they like arrived, because I just thought this feels too good to be true. That leather jacket I love, but I obviously haven't worn it because it's the middle of summer. And then I think Simone Rocha trousers, that leather bomber jacket, and then I think that Zara halter neck.
Simone Rocha's actually like, it's not. I love her stuff, but it's definitely not very me. But that's such a good example of a brand that you look at, as in the trousers. How much would they have retailed for, those trousers, full price? I mean, hundreds.
Oh, it will be near 1,000, I think.
Yeah. And how much do you buy them for?
70 or 75.
Amazing. And I feel like she's one of those designers where it's not like Chanel. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's a really niche designer, isn't she? So I feel like somebody would find it hard to resell her stuff at a really high price, unless it was like a standalone, like viral piece that she does.
I think she's got quite a lot of that. So I do think her stuff does hold its price.
Didn't she do a collaboration with H&M?
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see if that.
She did that dress, the Pernell.
Yeah.
It's photograph. It's like a see-through pink with that like red eye bits. So like floor length, because she would wear it over like mental stuff. I think those were really good. And I'm really looking forward to that Ralph Lauren jacket turning up and seeing what that's like.
Oh yeah. Tell these guys about that.
I bought it was actually inspired by something so I used to buy a lot of Lauren, so where the label is Lauren, that knitwear category is amazing if you ever want to search for it. And when I did Pre-Loved Edit, that stuff was always so amazing.
Was that the jumper, the inspo for the staple high neck? Was that a Lauren one?
That was a Ralph Lauren. I think it maybe was, yeah. It was Ralph Lauren. I don't know if it was Lauren, but and then you showed me that picture of your friend, that top with the buckles, and I was like, fuck, that's cool for Ralph Lauren. And then I started looking, and I basically found this military Abbey wool insert, a screenshot for you guys, but it's basically it's a leather, slightly military jacket. Here.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's all leather. There's something that's the leather quality looks amazing. And there's just something like very modern about how clean it is.
Would you style that like you style the one from Massimo Dutti? So wear it over quite a feminine...
Yeah, I think so. Or just for jeans. Oh, cool. I wore the Massimo Dutti jacket when we went for our anniversary lunch.
Oh, I did see in there. I held up half of it in the photo.
Stalk. I was just jealous that
you were just stood there on the other side of the gate, messaging me saying, "Are you wearing that jacket?"
I was like this. Give us a glass. I actually got hoodwinked into having a drink with Holly and her husbands about a week ago. Holly had a very well deserved week off, and it was her and Charlie's anniversary, and I had to nip out to deliver some parcels that got delivered for her. One of which was Charlie's anniversary present, and we got chatting, and the next thing I know, Charlie had brought out a chair and she put a drink in my hand. I was like,
yeah, she was like, oh, if I ever have to. We sent a picture to Abby, didn't we?
Yeah, you did.
She was like, well, fuck.
Sorry, Nish.
We're going to talk about our sort of hacks. So, like I definitely have quite a strategy for buying buying vintage. So, and I've talked about this before on my Vinted Edits Instagram, but a really good strategy I find is to buy your seasonal clothes like on the opposites. So at the moment, middle of summer, we're about to have a heat wave, I will start looking for coats. There is a specific coat that I'm after, and I'm not going to tell you what. But I'm waiting to see if I can negotiate the price down, because it is a shearling coat.
Ooh.
So super warm. So for example, I've bought this recently on Vinted, which is a Jaeger runway coat. It's got these like long wool cuff sleeves. It's alpaca and mohair, so it's really warm, and it's like mid-length. And I got this at such a steal, I can't even remember what I paid for it, but it's basically because I bought it in the summer, which I've done loads, like that amazing Topshop unique shearling coat, which is like patchworked. I got that for like 60 quid in the summer, because I think people just do a clear out, and I think the mentality is this isn't going to shift during the hot season. So we get a similar thing with knitwear. People are always like, oh, you must be really quiet during the summer, and it's never the case. Maybe during the summer holidays, just where people go away, but it's people are still looking to buy, and I think that's a really good hack. So if you want something that's a very heavy winter coat, a heat wave is the time to buy.
That is actually a good hack. I bought that. I bought a wool and cashmere M&S coats last summer for the winter for like 16 quid.
That is a barge.
I know, it was so good.
Bourgeois.
I feel like I don't have so much of like a clean... I do always save my searches, so my recommended for you, so like are nice. And sometimes I will actually, like if I find a piece which is not in my size, I'll still save it, because I think that Vinted will also show you stuff that like they'll go on the images as well as the size. So I have found some really cool pieces where I've saved something that I love the style of, which isn't my size. That's probably
a good one.
Yeah. And actually some of the searching for the brands that you love is an obvious one, and saving those, so it's like showing you the brands that you love. But actually some of the best things I've found on Vinted are like either vintage or unbranded.
Yeah, and it's just thrown up.
Yeah, and it's just thrown up. I think that's where they must do it from like an image rather than...
Yeah. That's where you have to be really careful with what you put into that algorithm. Because we were just saying earlier, Isabel's algorithm is really skewed because she buys her kids some stuff through there, and then it will throw up. And every now and again, I'll get like something for a 4-year-old, a Stella McCartney 4-year-old, it looks so cool, but I'm like, I'm not going to press on it because it will then just skew my algorithm. Like that a few times when Aurora was hopping onto mine and looking for like oversized joggers and like stuff like that, and then it was just showing me all this stuff. So yeah, you have to be quite protective, I think, of what you're searching.
Recently looking for a massive inflatable penis costume for my friend's hen do, and well, you can imagine what that's done. Absolute nightmare. So then you have to like spend time like searching, liking, screenshotting stuff, because everything was just like inflatable costumes, which is not the one.
You didn't have one of those already?
No, not in my catalogue of... Although I do now, and Artie found it the other day. It was just like this inflatable penis costume, which I got for £4 from Vinted. It's now in my house. And Artie was like, Mummy, what was this? Like, not for you. Shall I do your would you rather?
Yeah, go on.
This is a very one-sided would you rather because it's from me to Holly. Would you rather shave your head or not moisturise for a whole year? Caveat, Holly moisturises every single day, and if on like the maybe 2 occasions in the nearly 3 years that I've worked with her, she hasn't moisturised. It's like she's got like she's having like a breakout rash. She's like, oh my God, I can feel my clothes are like sitting against my body weirdly because I haven't moisturised, and it's like something we now all moisturise.
At least I shave my head.
Oh God, yes, I'd literally love to see you with a little bald head. Would you really shave your head rather than not moisturise for a year? I mean, a year is actually quite a long time. Maybe I should have made it like 2 months.
I think because the idea of like in winter getting out of the shower and like I put like face oil on and then my moisturiser and then like different moisturisers.
You'd be so chapped.
Oh, I'd hate it.
You'd just be one.
I'd be like,
You'd be like one. You'd be like one big flake of skin just floating about.
oh yeah.
Okay, would you rather shave your head or not shave your legs for a year?
I would not shave my legs and my pits. I mean, Charlie's probably the only one that would have an issue with it.
Yeah. There we go. That's how much you love moisturising.
I love moisturising.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Bye.